Welcome to the Sheila Mack Show, reality at its finest. Here we have real people sharing real stories and actionable steps to help you reinvent, rebuild, and reboot your business and personal life on your terms. I'm your host, Sheila Mack, and today we have special guest David Spratte. He is the co-founder of the Carpe, and you're going to learn more about that. And he has lived his whole life with the embarrassment of sweaty hands at the University of North Carolina. Him and Kasper Kubica, through a shared scholarship program with Duke, they both bonded over always being sweaty guys in the room, and they started having ingredients and chemicals delivered to their dorm rooms and mixing concoctions. After a year and over 60 prototypes, they made something that worked for them, and from that dorm room, Carp was born. And they've helped over 1 million people live without embarrassing, uncomfortable sweat. So welcome to the show, David. And
Thanks,
I would
Sheila.
like
Happy to be here.
and I would like to start off. This show actually started from my new best-selling book, Bootstraps and Bra Straps: The Formula to Go from Rock Bottom Back into Action in Any Situation. And that sweating is quite a situation. So I'd love to hear about a time in your business or personal life where you experienced a tough situation and how you got back on track.
For sure. So I think, a lot of people say COVID was a huge problem for them, for their business. A lot of people went out of business. We are lucky enough to be, people and to run a company that has continued to grow and continued to be able to not only employ everyone, but to hire more people throughout the pandemic. But it was not easy. And the reason it wasn't easy was because our main product, the first product that we ever made, was an antiperspirant lotion for sweaty hands. Now, I'm not sure if you know anyone that was shaking hands during COVID, but I have not met a single one. So sweat is a very social and professional problem. And when people aren't socializing and in professional environments where they're shaking hands, or even like fun environments where they're high-fiving and also giving presentations, the demand for those products to help with that problem goes down dramatically. The team responded in a really amazing way, and obviously we aren't just selling a product for sweaty hands. We have products for sweat all over the body, and we pride ourselves in making the most effective sweat solutions for everywhere. We're the #1 dermatologist recommended brand for sweat all over the body, which is pretty exciting. And we've had, like you said, about 1 million people whose lives have genuinely been changed by our products. In terms of how we responded to that big problem of people just not shaking hands, we really leaned in to our community. We leaned into just making a lot of organic content. We pulled back ad spend. We started leaning into other products like our facial sweat product and our under boob sweat product and some others that there was still significant demand for. Foot sweat, because people were going outside and hiking and getting sweaty feet and sweaty socks and blisters. And obviously what became our #1 SKU was our underarm antiperspirant, just because we do make the most effective antiperspirant for your underarms. And so we really leaned in there and had a tremendous amount of success. We focused on, our customers. We focused on making a great experience. We focused on, long-term investments like product development, things that would really, set us up for a very successful long-term. So that's how we responded, but definitely was a thorn, and was not, exciting to be faced with that. But I think a lot of people fared significantly worse.
That's incredible. And that's something Tony Robbins talks about, resourcefulness. And that's like one of our most important tools. And this time has caught us all off guard and made us be more resourceful in order to just survive in business and thrive. So that makes a big difference. Now, I'd like to go back a little bit to, okay, so you both were in this university, and what were your majors? Were you majoring in sweat products or what was your majors?
Yeah. So first, on the note of kind of resourcefulness, one of our core values is just find a way. So,
Mhm.
whatever the situation, you just find a way.
Right.
There are really no excuses. Let's just find a way to make it happen, and to build what we all want to build, which is a company and a brand that is genuinely improving people's quality of life by just making them drier and more confident. And then in terms of our story, yeah, so we majored in sciences. I was health policy and management and chemistry at UNC, and Casper, my co-founder, was physics and computer science at Duke. Neither one of us planned on kind of doing this post grad.
Hmm.
We both had other plans. I was interested in medical school. Casper was interested in going to grad school for computer science, and but we had been working on this because we both had sweaty hands and we wanted to solve our own problem. We launched the product, and then we started hearing from people that were buying it and using it, and the response wasn't, "Oh, this is a cool product." The response was, "This product has changed my life. I can now I can now go on dates. I can leave the house. I can be confident. I can do all of these things and actually live a life that I wanted to live. Thank you so much.
Hmm.
And by the way, can you also make something for this and this and this and this?" And
Nice.
we just started hearing that over and over and over again. And we realized that, wow, like we not only have a huge opportunity here, but we're solving a fundamental, like, core problem that has yet to be solved. This sounds exciting and fun and extremely fulfilling. And so that's when we decided to, make the leap and go full time post grad instead of, me going to med school or Casper going to grad school.
Oh, yes. I always feel like I have this saying, the universe conspires for our highest and best good. So sometimes our plans are derailed in medical school and IT stuff didn't happen exactly what you planned, but it's even better. And you're helping so many people. I mean, imagine going on a date. You don't want to be sweating, but you're nervous. It's first date, whatever. So all these different things to help people, it really does make a difference. Now, are you still planning to do medical or combine that in some way, or are you just focused on the business now? What is the plans going forward?
We Yeah, our plans going forward, really, we're just very focused on solving the problem of sweat and making people drier. We want to make sweat an irrelevant problem for everyone out there that is just tired of sweating more than they want to all over the body, wherever they sweat. And so that's our core focus. We're focused on building the Carpe brand, and we really want Carpe to be synonymous with sweat as, Kleenexes with tissues. So that's really what our focus on. And I do not think that medical school is in the future plans. My wife is in med school, and
Yeah.
it's not for me.
Oh, that's so good. See how that is wonderful how that happens sometimes, where a surprise shows up that's even better than what you planned. I love that. I'd love to hear how you found the name. Where did the name come from? What's the origin? How did you come up with the name?
Yeah, for sure. So Carpe, like Carpe Diem. So Carpe Diem is like
Right.
seize the day. And
Mhm.
so we really, thought about the brand as just something that is going to give someone the confidence and ability to go seize the day and, live the life that they want to live and how they want to live it and not worry about sweat. Sweat's the last thing that anyone should have to think about ever. And
Mm.
so that's why we named it Carpe.
Now, I'd love to hear a little bit for those that are tuning in that are interested in starting their own business or side business. You started a business as students and have such success. So what tips do you have for newer entrepreneurs that are just starting out, so that they can save some of the time that it takes, all those setbacks before you figure out the process? What advice do you have?
The advice that I have is just do it, and just go after it. And there's no advice that I can give that's going to help you avoid mistakes. I typically find like most people just need to make the mistakes on their own and learn from the experience. But the best advice that I can give is the advice that most don't take, which is just do it, just try it, just
Mhm.
go after it and dive in. I think, most talk about ideas and think about different ideas. Ideas are great. Ideas are powerful. Ideas can change the world. But ideas aren't really anything without the execution behind them. So don't spend too much time on the idea. Ideas can change. Ideas do change. They always do. Our idea of what we, were originally doing has changed dramatically since we started. And so just kind of, and also don't focus on the idea. Focus on a problem. Focus on a real problem that you want to solve, and then just go do it and try to make something that people want and people will use, and get the feedback and go from there. But just dive in. That would be my advice.
Yes, it is. There's so many course corrections that we have to make in business. So for myself, I started at 23. I opened a gift store, 5,000 square feet, $5,000 a month in Southern California. And I didn't know anything about running a store. So I made every mistake in the book and I actually rebranded within 6 months and hired a marketing team. And that store originally helped me purchase 4 buildings. So I had 5 gift stores, paid for and clear, and raised my 6 children. I adopted 3 so along the way. And that really, it paid for college, it paid for schooling, it paid for everything. And it had a heart. So we gave back to at-risk youth and had a whole program for them. And that was, I woke up every day to serve those kids and the community. And I think when you're going in service and that's your focus, all those course corrections were okay. It was just part in it. And I didn't care. I didn't care so much. And I think maybe that's the gift of starting a business when you're younger and not waiting for perfection. Because perfection, that's like sweating the small stuff, right? Talking about sweat. And so we're trying to be perfect. And you wait until perfection happens, you'll never start. That fear comes in. So
For sure.
I think that's a real gift. That really is. What do you suggest for those that are dealing with that situation of fear? They're concerned about starting a business. What would you suggest to get them started?
One, I'd want to know what they're concerned about. I'm not sure I can make any suggestions without really understanding what the core problem is. And that's similar to starting a business. Make sure you're solving a real problem. And I think
Mhm.
um, in terms of, fears that you have, I mean, everyone has fears. You just got to face them head on, uh, and just pound through them, and go do what you want to do and have fun with it. I think if you just go and have fun and solve problems, like, it's gonna be,
Mhm.
you're going to learn something from it. And whether it becomes a successful business or not, it will most likely, improve your life long term in some way, shape, or form because of what you learn from it, if you're open
Yes.
to have it as a learning experience and as a journey.
Now, how did you overcome, both of you, overcome peer pressure or maybe advice from loved ones that were like, you're studying medicine. What are you doing with this side gig thing? What's going on?
Yeah, it's hard for me to speak to this, just because I obviously I got that. My parents were like, "What? What are you doing?" Um,
Well,
but it honestly, it wasn't a second thought for me. We were solving a problem, and we were having a lot of fun doing it. We were getting an extreme amount of fulfillment, like personal fulfillment,
right.
from doing what we were doing and building what we were building. And we had a vision for the future that we wanted to bring to life. And so there really was no second guessing. Um, there was no, like, big fears. It was just about going and doing it and seeing how it went, and learning from it and constantly growing, learning, growing, and, again, trying to solve problems that
Mhm.
are meaningful to people. I think if you focus on those things, like, you're gonna get to good places.
Yes, that's wonderful. Now, I'd love to hear a little bit more, understand about your products. Can you go into detail about some of the products you carry and how they work?
For sure. So we have antiperspirants and sweat absorbing products. So our antiperspirant is, has active ingredients and inactive sweat absorbing ingredients that both help absorb moisture and kind of prevent sweating long term, by decreasing the amount of sweat over time as you use it more and more. We have products for facial sweating, hand sweat, foot sweat, groin, under breast sweat, thigh, and we are soon to be coming out with some others. We have just gotten into scents. We haven't focused on scents for our underarm product historically, just because we've been very focused on sweat, and just helping people sweat less and get dry and stay dry. But we have recently launched some really amazing scents, cypress and vanilla, because that was a big request from our customers. It's something that they really wanted in our products. So we're really excited about that. And we obviously have some pretty big Black Friday deals going on. So if you sweat more than you want to, if you just want to get dry, if you want to use science-based products, you should definitely check out mycarpe.com and see what we have to offer. I think one of the big things for us is we really focus on the science of sweat. And that's why we kind of go by this internal tagline of Carpe is better science for sweat.
Yes, that sounds great. All right. And again, we are coming to the end of our talking time, but I'd like to learn just a little bit more. First of all, one of the things I ask everyone is, if you could go back in time, what would you tell your younger self? And we lost David. All right. So, all right. Okay, David's back.
Hey, sorry, someone tried calling me. I'm here. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow, look at that, Saved by the Bell. So the question is, if you could go back in time, what would you tell or advise your younger self?
Um, so one thing that we did really well early on was find people who've been there and done it, and they've done what we want to do, which is build a big brand, a big company, a lot of success with it, and learn from them. Like, pick their
Yes.
brain, ask them questions, learn from them. That's what we did really well. What I really would have loved to have known early on was just how to hire and lead people in a
Oh, yeah.
team. It sounds very easy and straightforward, but it is by far the hardest part of building a business. Just
Yes.
learning and knowing how to hire, who to hire, and how to really build a culture that's exciting and caring, and really just amazing to be a part of. And I'm excited that we've gotten there. It's just,
Yes.
it's taken a lot of learning to really understand what it takes to build an amazing culture. So would have loved to have learned that earlier, and been able to share more tips with my earlier self. But that's what I'd say.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I closed my stores, but I still have online stores. And it's funny because I closed them back in, I think it was 2001, and I still have meetings and dinners with all the employees. Wild. All these years later. So that our corporate culture was definitely a family of, an extended family, and all those kids, they're all doing well now and have their own businesses. So so that it does
That's
make a
awesome.
difference. It's like you wanna go to work and be happy. You don't wanna go to work like, "Oh, this is work. I don't like this." So that's the difference, and that's a wonderful thing, to learn and be able to apply right away in your company. All right, now, David, we are, at the end of our talking time, so I'd love for you to share again where people can learn more.
Yeah, go to mycarpe.com. That's mycarpe.com, and check out our sweat products that are going to keep you drier than anything else out there. It's really worth it. And obviously, we offer 100% money back guarantee. We really believe in our products and their power to really help you stay dry. So check them out.
All right. Thank you again, David, for being a guest on the show.
Thanks, Sheila. Have a great day.
And for those tuning in, we'll be back after these messages.